0. Professional pet snuggler, snake therapist, bubble wrap popper. Welcome to America, where even the strangest skill can become a paycheck. We're showcasing 49 shockingly real jobs and one classic prank that prove the American dream sometimes looks really weird. Ready to have your definition of career completely flipped? Let's go. 1. Rock balancer. Picture this. You're in the middle of a serene park, and there's a guy stacking rocks like he's building a mini Stonehenge for squirrels. That's a rock balancer, but don't be fooled, it's not just a quirky hobby. In the US, these stone-stacking savants are actually hired for corporate retreats, weddings, meditation gardens, and festivals. It's all about balance, literally and spiritually. Their creations often look like they defy gravity, which, ironically, makes them more stable than most office jobs. Some people find it calming, others find it a profound metaphor for life. Either way, if you've ever felt useless, remember, there are people out there making a living from putting rocks on top of other rocks. 2. Snake therapist. Only in America can you find someone professionally trained to help you emotionally bond with a snake. Yes, snake therapists exist, and they guide anxious pet owners through the complex journey of trusting a creature with no legs and zero facial expressions. Sessions may include guided handling techniques, reptile body language decoding, and lots of "don't panic, he's just hugging your arm." It's niche, but hey, some people pay more for less useful therapy. Who knew that emotional support could slither? 3. Luggage inspector. Not quite TSA, not quite Sherlock Holmes, but somewhere in between lies the luggage inspector. These professionals work behind the scenes at airports, scanning bags for the weird, the wacky, and the downright illegal. With the help of high-tech X-ray machines, they've probably seen more embarrassing items than your diary would ever admit. Ever tried sneaking a full jar of peanut butter through security? They've seen it. A suitcase full of rubber ducks? Yep, that too. Their job isn't glamorous, but when it comes to keeping airports safe and mildly entertained, they're the silent heroes of terminal chaos. 4. Spaghetti harvest expert. This one's not real, but it absolutely deserves a spot on the list because Americans actually celebrate it. Every April Fool's Day, pranksters in the US resurrect the legendary spaghetti harvest joke, posing as field workers pulling pasta from trees in mock documentaries. And yes, people fall for it. Some even dress up in overalls and carry baskets like they're harvesting heirloom marinara vines. It's ridiculous, it's glorious, and it's proof that Americans can turn anything into a job, even harvesting imaginary carbs. 5. Worm picker. Imagine wandering through damp fields at 5 a.m., headlamp on, raincoat flapping, collecting wriggly treasure from the dirt. That's the life of a worm picker. These unsung heroes supply bait shops with the freshest, juiciest worms for America's fishing addicts. The job requires patience, a weird level of enthusiasm for mud, and occasionally stealth. Because yes, competitive worm picking is a thing in some regions. Turns out there's good money in dirt. And now you know. If your career ever tanks, you can always pivot to worm whispering. 6. Human guinea pig for medical trials. If your side hustle includes growing a third ear or temporarily glowing in the dark, welcome to the wild world of clinical trials. Human guinea pigs are the backbone of medical progress, volunteering to test everything from headache pills to futuristic biotech. Sure, there's paperwork, needles, and the occasional side effect that sounds like a villain origin story. But hey, the pay can range from a few hundred to several $1,000s depending on the risk level. Some participants even make it a full-time gig, traveling from one lab to another like science's version of a rock star. And unlike most jobs, this one literally comes with a waiver stating, "You might grow a tail, but thank you for your service." 7. Professional mourner. If you've got a flair for drama and an Oscar-worthy sob, there's a niche for that. Funerals. Yes, in the land of the free and the home of the emotionally reserved, some people outsource their grief. Professional mourners are hired to attend services and crank up the sorrow, ensuring the dearly departed get a theatrical send-off. Some go for quiet dignity, others go full soap opera. It's part performance, part emotional labor, and entirely strange. Bonus points if you can cry on cue and deliver a speech like you knew Uncle Larry personally, even if you just met him in the obituary section. 8. Golf ball diver. Somewhere between treasure hunter and glorified janitor, golf ball divers plunge into algae-infested ponds to retrieve wayward balls. Armed with scuba gear, a strong stomach, and a vague immunity to turtle bites, these divers rake in thousands of submerged spheres daily. It's not glamorous. Visibility's terrible, the water's cold, and there's always a chance you're diving into someone's beer-fueled bad decision. But the pay can hit 6 figures for those willing to go deep. It's dirty work, but someone's got to keep the golf gods appeased. 9. Professional mermaid. When you mix aquatic athleticism with cosplay and sprinkle in a bit of Disney magic, you get the professional mermaid. These performers slide into custom-made silicone tails, some costing more than a used car, and bring underwater fantasy to life. From pool parties and kids' birthdays to aquarium shows, they're part performer, part model, part fish. But don't be fooled, it's not all glitter and waves. You need serious breath control, swimming chops, and the ability to smile serenely while pretending the pool filter isn't trying to eat your hair. Aerial who? 10. Cheese sculptor. Forget clay. Real artists work in cheddar. Cheese sculptors turn dairy into masterpieces for fairs, contests, or corporate events with more dairy pride than common sense. These lactose Leonardo da Vinci's can carve anything. Busts of presidents, farm scenes, or even wedding cakes. Working with cheese is a unique challenge. It melts, cracks, and is very tempting to nibble. But if you can handle the smell and ignore the urge to eat your medium, this job's a blend of culinary creativity and Wisconsin-approved madness. And yes, cheeseheads are basically the groupies. 11. Cardboard tube tester. You know those sturdy tubes that protect your motivational cat posters and novelty diplomas during shipping? Someone's job is to destroy them. Meet the cardboard tube tester, a professional breaker of things. These folks spend their days stress-testing packaging by bending, bashing, and generally bullying tubes to make sure they can survive the horrors of modern logistics. Think of it as quality control meets rage therapy. It's oddly satisfying, wildly specific, and essential to keeping your limited edition spaghetti western posters crease-free. So next time your tube arrives unscathed, thank the person who drop-kicked its cousin in a lab somewhere. 12. Professional movie extra. Background actors. The blurry legends of the silver screen? They walk, they sip coffee, they pretend to talk, but all without stealing focus from the stars. Being a professional movie extra isn't glamorous, but it is a front-row seat to Hollywood chaos. These silent pros show up early, wait long hours, and repeat the same motion, take after take, like robots with SAG cards. Occasionally, they get bumped to featured extra status and end up in a freeze-frame meme on Reddit. And if they're lucky, their elbow might even make it into the final cut. Fame? Optional? Free lunch? Almost guaranteed. 13. Bearded dragon trainer. In a world where people hire therapists for their iguanas, it makes total sense that bearded dragon trainers are a real thing. These reptile whisperers specialize in teaching lizards to recognize cues, walk on tiny leashes, and even wave. Yes, wave. It's like dog training, but with more scales and less obedience. The job requires patience, calm vibes, and a willingness to be stared at blankly for hours by a creature that might be plotting your demise, or just waiting for snacks. Either way, these trainers are giving a whole new meaning to the phrase, emotional support dragon. 14. Fireworks designer. If you've ever gasped at a perfectly timed explosion of glitter in the sky, thank a fireworks designer. These pyrotechnic artists don't just light fuses and hope for the best. They choreograph entire sky ballets to music, emotion, and sometimes pure patriotic chaos. It's a job that blends chemistry, design, and just the right amount of madness. You need to know how to calculate burn rates, understand wind patterns, and resist the urge to yell pew pew every time something explodes. It's beautiful, dangerous, and possibly the coolest way to play with fire without getting grounded. 15. Movie popcorn butterer. Believe it or not, there's a science to that perfect popcorn soak. Enter the movie popcorn butterer, the popcorn Picasso who ensures your snack is neither soggy nor dry, but a buttery masterpiece. It's more than just pressing a button. There's a delicate art to layering the butter, shaking the tub, and knowing when to stop. A good butterer knows how to read the crowd. Extra butter for the sad rom-com, light drizzle for the intense thriller. And if you've ever had a kernel so saturated it could have doubled as a sponge? Yeah, that's the work of a passionate professional. 16. Professional awkward moment creator. Imagine being paid to make people uncomfortable, legally. That's the life of a professional awkward moment creator. These social saboteurs are hired by companies to simulate cringeworthy scenarios during corporate training. Think: loudly interrupting meetings, asking wildly inappropriate questions at mock interviews, or pretending to forget someone's name for the third time. The goal? Teach employees how to stay composed when things get weird. It's role-playing, sure, but with the emotional weight of a family Thanksgiving gone wrong. It takes confidence, timing, and just the right amount of social chaos. Basically, it's improv comedy meets HR boot camp. 17. Pet food taster. Ever wondered if your dog's gourmet salmon kibble actually tastes like, well, salmon? Enter the brave souls known as pet food tasters. These human testers evaluate pet food not just for safety and nutrition, but also for flavor and mouthfeel. Yes, that's a real term they use. They don't usually swallow it, keyword usually, but they do chew and analyze it like a fine wine. Notes of chicken? Too gritty? Needs more umami? They'll know. And honestly, if your pet's eating better than you, it might be because someone with a culinary degree gave their breakfast 5 stars. 18. Trash can cleaner. This might sound like rock bottom, but in the world of oddly profitable gigs, trash can cleaners are rolling in it, literally and financially. These sanitation warriors specialize in deep cleaning and deodorizing household garbage bins. Because let's face it, that stench isn't going away with just a garden hose and a prayer. Armed with high-pressure washers and industrial-strength disinfectant, they turn your biohazard barrel into a sparkling, almost huggable container. It's a dirty job, sure, but it keeps neighborhoods cleaner and noses happier. Plus, it's the only gig where people thank you for dealing with their rotting leftovers. 19. Spider remover. For arachnophobes, even the tiniest 8-legged intruder turns a home into a horror film. That's where spider removers step in, literal heroes with a jar, a steady hand, and a heart of steel. These professionals are hired to gently relocate spiders without harming them, making them perfect for those who love animals and adrenaline. Bonus points. If you can identify whether the creepy crawler is harmless or plotting world domination. You'll need nerves of steel, a calm demeanor, and probably a decent liability waiver. Because if a tarantula shows up in a client's shoe, that's your cue, spider whisperer. 20. Virtual gold farmer. In the digital dungeons of MMORPGs, while others quest for glory, virtual gold farmers are grinding for rent money. These hardcore gamers spend hours slaying monsters, completing tasks, and hoarding digital treasure to sell for real-world cash. It's legal-ish, exhausting, and oddly similar to working in a medieval bank with dragons. While it may sound like a teenage dream job, make no mistake, this is work. Long hours, repetitive gameplay, and in-game inflation are very real challenges. But for those who prefer swords and spells over spreadsheets, it's the closest thing to living in a fantasy and paying your bills with it. 21. Professional sand sculptor. Ever gone to the beach, built a lopsided sandcastle, and thought, wow, I'm talented? Well, professional sand sculptors are here to crush your confidence in the most beautiful way possible. These artists don't mess around with buckets and shovels. They use trowels, brushes, and even toothpicks to carve colossal dragons, lifelike portraits, and entire scenes from pop culture out of sand. Their masterpieces can take days to complete and seconds to be destroyed by wind, water, or an overly excited toddler. It's a fleeting art form that demands precision, patience, and peace with impermanence. Like if Michelangelo had worked at the beach and constantly lost his canvas to seagulls. 22. Comic book colorist. In the world of comics, illustrators may get the spotlight, but colorists are the unsung heroes making every panel pop. These digital wizards take black and white line art and breathe life into it with shading, lighting, and drama. They set the mood, tell the emotional tone, and basically decide whether a scene feels like a romantic sunset or the apocalypse. Without them, Batman's brooding stare would just look like a guy with eyeliner problems. It's part art, part psychology, and all pixel-powered storytelling. So next time you read a comic, give a nod to the colorist. They're the ones making Spider-Man's spandex look fabulous. 23. Human statue. Imagine standing perfectly still while tourists stare, kids poke, and pigeons contemplate using you as a landing pad. That's life as a human statue. These performance artists coat themselves in metallic paint, strike a pose, and transform into living sculptures for hours on end. It's performance art that requires muscle control, zen-like patience, and the ability to ignore your nose itching for 3 straight hours. One wrong twitch, and you're just an underpaid mime. But when done right, you're a street legend. Bonus: some people tip in cash, others in snacks. Either way, you're paid to not move. How's that for ironic? 24. Scuba diving pizza delivery person. Yep, that's a real job title. At the Jules Undersea Lodge in Key Largo, Florida, pizza gets delivered 30 feet below sea level by a scuba diver with a waterproof container and nerves of steel. It's part underwater adventure, part DoorDash fever dream. You have to be scuba certified, customer-friendly, and very, very careful with your marinara. One wrong move and your deep dish becomes a buffet for clownfish. But hey, it's probably the only job where you get tipped and get to high-five a passing stingray. And yes, pineapple is still controversial, even underwater. 25. Bodyguard for animals. When your dog wears designer sunglasses and travels first class, you don't just need a sitter, you need a bodyguard. That's right, some ultra-wealthy Americans hire private security for their pets. These handlers aren't just walking chihuahuas, they're trained in martial arts, surveillance, and canine psychology. Their mission? Protect precious pooches from paparazzi, dog nappers, or aggressive squirrels. It's part security gig, part luxury lifestyle, and part reality show waiting to happen. So if you're good with animals and can take down a threat with one hand while tossing a tennis ball with the other, you've found your calling. 26. Skyscraper window washer. If your idea of a bad day at work doesn't include dangling off the side of a 70-story building, congratulations, you're not a skyscraper window washer. These high-flying professionals are responsible for keeping the glassy giants of urban America squeaky clean. Armed with squeegees, suction cups, and nerves steadier than most marriages, they brave whipping winds and vertigo-inducing heights daily. It's equal parts janitorial work and adrenaline sport. The pay can be decent, but the view? Absolutely priceless. Unless, of course, you look down, and then it's just a fast track to panic. 27. Ice cream taster. Officially known as flavor gurus, these heroes don lab coats and dig into tubs of creamy bliss for a living. Sounds dreamy, right? But it's not all brain freezes and sprinkles. Ice cream tasters use a refined palate to analyze flavor profiles, texture, mouthfeel, and melt rates. It's part food science, part Willy Wonka fantasy. They help brands create the next big hit, or avoid a frozen fiasco, looking at you, dill pickle swirl. And yes, palate fatigue is real, so they don't gorge. Still, it's one of the only jobs where your dentist and your doctor are equally concerned. 28. Blood spatter analyst. For fans of crime shows who thought CSI was just fiction, this one's very real. Blood spatter analysts use mathematics, biology, and a spooky level of calm to determine what happened at a crime scene based on blood patterns. They measure droplet size, direction, velocity, and distribution to reconstruct violent events. It's forensic geometry with a splash of horror. The job is intense, the stakes are high, and your office is sometimes a little too red. But for those with a stomach of steel and a love of mystery, it's the ultimate in solving crimes without ever firing a gun. 29. Golf course. Raker. You've heard of Zen gardens, but have you heard of Zen bunkers? Golf course rakers are the unsung heroes of the links, ensuring sand traps are pristine, patterned, and rage-proof. These groundskeepers rake bunkers to perfection, often before sunrise, turning messes into mini masterpieces. It's quiet, meditative, and deeply satisfying if you're into order and symmetry. Some even create intricate designs. Think crop circles, but in a sand trap. And while golfers may curse the bunker, they sure appreciate when it looks Instagram-worthy before they angrily chip out of it. 30. Professional pogo stick jumper. Yep, it's a real job, and no, it's not just for circus auditions. Professional pogo athletes, yes, athletes, perform high-flying stunts, flips, and daredevil routines at festivals, halftime shows, commercials, and viral stunt videos. With reinforced pogo sticks that can launch them over cars and sometimes small buildings, these performers combine extreme sports with childhood nostalgia. It takes insane core strength, balance, and a willingness to fall hard during practice. It's a niche gig, but for thrill seekers with springs in their step, it's literally a career in bouncing back. 31. Gemologist. Yes, that's a real job. And no, it doesn't involve just blowing bubbles all day, though that is part of it. Gemologists work in the R&D labs of major confectionery companies, perfecting everything from that initial burst of flavor to the exact level of chewiness your jaw can handle. It's food science meets Willy Wonka with a dash of obsessive mouthfeel analysis. They experiment with sweeteners, softeners, and flavor oils to develop gum that pops, snaps, and never loses its zing too fast. If you've ever chewed a stick and thought, wow, that's minty perfection, now you know. A gum nerd made that happen. 32. Professional apologizer. Some people avoid conflict, others make it a career. Professional apologizers are paid to offer sincere, often scripted, heartfelt apologies on behalf of companies that messed up. Think airline delays, service disasters, or PR meltdowns. But this isn't your basic sorry for the inconvenience. These pros are trained in empathy, psychology, and verbal aikido. They can turn rage into forgiveness with the right tone and a few well-placed pauses. If you've got the voice of Morgan Freeman and the emotional control of a Buddhist monk, this might be your weirdly soothing destiny. 33. Personal shopper for celebrities. Being a personal shopper for the rich and famous is like playing fashion Tetris with unlimited funds. Your job? Make sure they're styled to perfection. On red carpets, on coffee runs, and even for accidental paparazzi strolls. You're sourcing couture, booking last-minute fittings, and making sure no one's caught wearing the same outfit twice. The horror. It's glamorous, exhausting, and occasionally ridiculous. Imagine buying $100 sunglasses for someone's dog, or flying across the country for a very specific shade of beige. But hey, if you've got style, hustle, and zero fear of diva meltdowns, you'll fit right in. 34. Snake milker. This job sounds fake, but it's terrifyingly real. Snake milkers extract venom from venomous snakes like cobras and rattlesnakes, carefully collecting those deadly droplets to make life-saving anti-venom. It's a weird mix of medical science and Indiana Jones, but with fewer whips. You need steady hands, steel nerves, and a total lack of fear around creatures that hiss like broken espresso machines. It's risky, it's niche, and it's oddly noble. Because while most people scream at a snake, snake milkers stare it down and say, "Open up, buddy, it's time to save a life." 35. Food stylist. Ever wondered why that burger in the ad looks 10 times better than the one in your drive-thru bag? Blame the food stylist. These culinary illusionists are masters at making food look edible, epic, and photogenically perfect, even when it's being shot under hot lights for hours. Toothpicks, motor oil, and mashed potatoes pretending to be ice cream. It's all fair game. Food stylists don't just make food look good, they make it perform. It's half art, half wizardry, and all about making you drool through your screen. Just don't expect to eat the final product. What's under that bun might be cardboard. 36. UFO investigator. If you're the type who keeps binoculars by the window and a tinfoil hat just in case, this might be your dream job. UFO investigators dive into the world of unexplained lights, flying saucers, and I swear it wasn't a weather balloon sightings. They interview frantic witnesses, examine photos that look like smudged fingerprints, and sometimes even consult with pilots and radar experts. It's part detective work, part sci-fi obsession, and part staying up until 3 a.m. rewatching X-Files for research. Whether it's government black ops, misidentified drones, or actual aliens, someone's got to look into it. Why not you? 37. Velcro tester. Rip, stick, rip, stick. Repeat that a few thousand times and you've got the life of a Velcro tester. These folks are paid to evaluate the durability and rip factor of hook and loop fasteners used in everything from shoes to spacesuits. It sounds satisfying at first, until your fingers go numb and your ears beg for mercy. But someone has to ensure your kids' sneakers don't give out mid-playground chase. If you've got a love for textures, endless patience, and possibly a hidden vendetta against zippers, this job sticks. 38. Netflix tagger. Imagine getting paid to binge-watch Netflix. Because that's literally the gig. Netflix taggers watch hours of content and apply metadata like genre, tone, themes, and yes, awkward romantic subplot or epic beard energy. These tags help the algorithm serve up your next guilty pleasure. It's a dream job for pop culture nerds, but don't be fooled. It takes focus, accuracy, and a surprising amount of writing. You might love movies, but can you summarize Sharknado 5 with academic precision and still survive emotionally? Taggers can. 39. Line stander. In a world where time is money, line standers are capitalists in sneakers. These professional placeholders queue up for anything: iPhones, sneaker drops, Supreme releases, or that one bakery that sells out by 9 a.m. Some even camp out overnight so you don't have to. The best part? They charge by the hour, and if the demand is hot, rates can skyrocket. It's capitalism's way of saying, yes, you can literally buy patience. And hey, if you're good at standing around and resisting the urge to scream at line cutters, this gig might just pay your rent. 40. Dog surfing instructor. Picture this: a Labrador on a longboard, ears flapping, balancing better than most tourists in Malibu. Welcome to the world of dog surfing, where pups hit the waves and instructors help them hang 10. Well, hang 4. Dog surfing instructors train canines to stay calm on surfboards, position their paws, and ride with the tide. It's as adorable as it is absurd. You'll need dog training skills, surfing ability, and the patience to work with animals who occasionally eat their boards. It's a beach job with barks and barrels. And yes, some dogs are better surfers than their owners. 41. Car plate blocker. In the underbelly of urban ingenuity, the car plate blocker reigns supreme. Operating in cities with congestion tolls, traffic cams, or plate recognition systems, these entrepreneurs get paid to obscure your license plate just long enough to dodge a fine. Whether it's with cardboard signs, reflective sprays, or the old strategic bag of groceries trick, they're turning low-level mischief into a business model. It's technically illegal, definitely sketchy, and somehow still less annoying than paying $15 to drive 3 blocks. It's the kind of job that lives at the intersection of tech savvy and please don't tell my mom. 42. Professional ice cream sundae maker. Imagine waking up every day with one goal: build the most Instagram-worthy mountain of ice cream, syrup, sprinkles, and whipped cream humanly possible. Professional sundae makers are dessert artists, no, dessert architects, who craft towering sundaes for events, restaurants, or photo shoots. Think banana splits with edible glitter, or 5-scoop wonders dripping in caramel lava. It's not all sweet dreams, though. Timing, temperature, and gravity are your constant enemies. But if you've got a steady hand, a creative mind, and a lifelong commitment to the power of hot fudge, this is your frozen calling. 43. Professional snuggler for pets. Picture this. You walk into a cozy living room, and your job is to cuddle a golden retriever for an hour while soft music plays in the background. That's reality for professional pet snugglers. Whether the owners are away, busy, or just want their pet to get extra love, these fluff-friendly pros step in to provide comfort and warmth. It's therapeutic for the pet, and honestly, for the human too. You'll need patience, gentleness, and a resistance to falling asleep mid-snuggle. Bonus: zero awkward small talk, just purrs, tail wags, and nap time. 44. Bubble wrap popping professional. There are people who pop bubble wrap for money, and no, we're not jealous at all. Companies in the packaging industry actually hire professional bubble poppers to test the strength, size, and pop satisfaction of their product. It's tactile quality control with the added bonus of instant stress relief. But after your 4,000th pop, even the most satisfying snap can start to sound like tiny screams. Still, if you've got fingers of fury and a deep love for small bursts of joy, this might just be your weird but wonderful career path. 45. Odor judge. You know a job is intense when it literally stinks. Odor judges are scent testers who put their noses on the line, literally, to evaluate everything from armpits to garbage bags. It's their duty to sniff out whether that new deodorant really works, or if it just turns BO into floral BO. These nasal warriors have to be highly trained, regularly tested for olfactory sensitivity, and possibly compensated with hazard pay or therapy. It's the only job where someone might say, "Smell this," and you can't run away. Because, well, it's your job. 46. Furniture tester. Ever dreamed of getting paid to sit down? Well, wake up and stretch, then lie back down, because furniture testers do exactly that. These comfort connoisseurs test couches, recliners, office chairs, and beds to evaluate softness, structure, and long-term butt support performance. It's not just flopping onto cushions. They measure pressure distribution, assess lumbar support, and even simulate years of use in a single afternoon. Sure, it sounds like a lazy person's fantasy, but after hour 5 of repetitive lounging, even the coziest recliner starts to feel like a padded prison. Still, if your superpower is napping and noticing cushion inconsistencies, this one's for you. 47. Pet waste removal service. These unsung warriors clean up what your dog leaves behind so your backyard doesn't become a biological war zone. Armed with gloves, scoops, and a strong stomach, pet waste removal pros swoop in to reclaim lawns from tiny, smelly landmines. It's not glamorous, but it's weirdly profitable, and way more appreciated than you'd think. People with busy schedules or weak stomachs are happy to pay top dollar for a poop-free paradise. Think of it as landscaping, but with more surprises and less applause. They may not wear capes, but they do wear rubber boots, and that's close enough. 48. Grave digger. It may not be flashy, but grave digging is one of the oldest and most essential jobs around. These professionals prepare burial plots with precision and respect, working closely with funeral homes to ensure everything runs smoothly. It's a job that demands both physical strength and emotional steadiness, as you're literally and metaphorically dealing with heavy stuff. Whether they're digging by hand in rural cemeteries or operating machinery in city memorial parks, grave diggers are the quiet backbone of the burial process. And hey, they've got one of the few jobs where nobody ever complains about their work being too deep. 49. Tooth fairy. No wings required, just a costume, a smile, and a willingness to sneak around under pillows like a glittery dental ninja. Some parents or companies actually hire performers to play the tooth fairy for kids, especially during big events or for kids who need a little extra magic after losing a tooth. They'll tiptoe into bedrooms, leave money, and sometimes even read a story or sprinkle fairy dust. Biodegradable, of course. It's half performance art, half bedtime bribery, and 100% commitment to the myth. Warning: may cause confusion when 3 different tooth fairies show up in 1 week. From human guinea pigs to snake therapists. Honestly, America never ceases to amaze, right? What was the absolute wildest job on this list for you? Could you actually do any of these? Drop your thoughts below. I genuinely want to know. If you dig deep dives into fascinating and slightly crazy topics like this, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next adventure. Catch you in the comments.